my scraps from my previous collages I've been working on the past couple of months. Ended up on my studio table. This is going to serve two purposes. Number one, I'm cleaning my stuff up and I'm sorting through it. Number two, inevitably, when I do a cleanup, I end up creating. It's just going to happen. I promise you this. So I just decided to go with it, start cleaning, and I know we're going to come up with something. My favorite part of this process is going to be culling my little clean cuts like this one. Did this a couple months back, and it inspires me then to do more, like this little piece. I'm really not sure what this is, but I'll just go ahead, grab my scissors as I'm cleaning, and devote a little bit of time to this little bit of ephemera that I may or may not use today. I'm not even sure if I'm going to be making a collage today. I'm just going through my scraps. These are all scraps. I don't have anything in mind. I just want to clean things up a little bit and put things in their proper place, or a new place in most cases with collage, because we create new landscapes. Each time we make a collage, we create a new world. I'll look at something like this too. I'll just cut it, put it off to the side. I like doing these clean cuts because, as you know, and I have other collage friends that will attest to it, it's very soothing and it gets you thinking, or not. Maybe there won't be anything that comes of this culling, but I will at least come away with a couple clean cuts that I can use in the next collage. And then I can sort them and save them in a better place than just on my tabletop, my studio tabletop, where, you know, one of my critters might jump up here and that's all she wrote and it's a mess again. But we cleaned things up and the studio's already looking a little better. And who knows? Put a couple things together and you end up with something completely unexpected. So I look at something like this. This was filled with pasta. And I thought, well, I'll cut out the pasta and then I'll add water like this. And I created something just a little different. And that's always cool. It's always fun to do. That's another reason why I love to do this cleanup. I don't really have anything in mind. I'm just playing right now. And the video that I was working on this week, it's in the can, it's done, and I can go ahead and, clean up the studio, play with different ideas. I'm not under any pressure to make anything specific. I'm just having a good time. And I can, try these little experiments. Usually when I approach collage, I don't have anything in mind. Those are the most fun collages and the ones that I usually end up appreciating more than something that I attempt with a specific idea in mind. Those collages sometimes are not really successful for me. Now, that doesn't include the prompts. I love doing prompts. That's why I love Februage. The prompts are wonderful. But when I approach it saying, oh, I want to do something super specific like a Day of the Dead collage, I can do that, but I feel sometimes I'm limiting myself and I try to stay away. So something like this, playing with a bowl of pasta and this pool water, I can just come up with something interesting. I have a bunch of pieces now in this little box that are very clean, fussy cuts. And I'm having a good time with it. Okay, look at this famous picture of Earth from the moon's surface. I saw something like this. I don't know if it works, but well, maybe it does. I don't know. It's kind of cute. So that's what I like to do. I'm just having a good time with this, messing around. I think I like the water better, but I'll put them off to the side. And things that I thought, well, maybe this will work, and I look at it later, and I'm like, no, that does not work. I do not want to use that. And I end up tossing it. Or something like this, it's not a focal point of an image, but I'll keep it because I like the perspective, and that might add a new dimension to a collage. And even as I'm cutting this, I'm looking at the framing, and kind of like this, you know, it's like, oh my gosh, this could be a border for something. So I'll just clean it up a little bit. I may not do a lot of super fussy cuts when I'm doing the scrap cleanup, because I don't want the fussy cut to be damaged. That's the risk you run into. When you do a lot of fussy cutting and you don't give it a home, you need to make sure you're protecting it, you're securing it, and storing it properly. See, this will probably be okay, but I could just keep it like this if I'm, you know, I don't really need to cut this right now because it's fine the way it is. It's evident this is what I would want to use, just the diamond, and I would cut away the extraneous black background. So it's really not necessary. It's small enough, like these pieces are. And I remember I was using these for the first aid collage, and this was for, I can't remember, twins, I think. Something, I'm calling it twins right now. The video hasn't really been worked on. So that's just what I'm doing, and a lot of sweeping off a little debris. I keep a lot of my small pieces when I am making a collage. I keep them nearby because I don't know if I need to resort back to them. It's always a good idea to hang on to your stuff as you're working. So some of this, like, I remember looking at this and liking it initially, but it's going to call for a lot of fussy cutting in the end if I decide to use this cityscape, so I'm probably going to recycle that piece of paper. This, maybe I might use it. You know, just, you know, this, it's maybe for like a minimal, or I'm going to put it off to the side because I may want to use it right now. I may want to use it today. This is cool, but there's a lot of text, and you know me and text. We don't always work together very well. I'll just kind of hang on to it. So that's how I'm doing this. I'm just going through what I have. And I'm looking at this and I'm really not sure why I held on to this. I'm not going to toss it yet, but I don't know why. It's like, okay, why did I hang on to this? Well, the portion of it might be interesting to use. I know why I hung on to this. I love cameras. I like to keep black and white imagery. I like doing collages that are limited palettes. I don't know if I'm going to use this again. It is beautiful. Just clean it up a bit. I think this is from a movie. So I kind of want to be careful with stuff like that too. Oh, here's this another thumbs up guy. Okay, let's get back to cutting. Found a lot of old pieces that contributed to other collages that I've already created and posted on the channel. I even found something from, oh gosh, this was last year. It was a Buddha I did. And I'll want to hang on to that tracing paper. So a lot of this I've already used, and since I've used it, I don't want to say I'm not finding it inspiring any longer, but since I already used it, I don't want to use it again. I want to use new material. Had some This is supposed to be black construction paper, guys. Looks like it's navy blue. It was just a cheap black construction paper that I wanted to use for another project and it never happened. And then I have some watercolor paper that's really good, and I'll keep that off to the side as well. Then I have these beautiful black and white images, but again, these are major focal points, and I'm not there right now. I'm not going to do that. I'm just going to be working with the scraps if I create anything today. And there's a lot of maybes, like I shared before this piece. I just don't know why I saved it. Yeah, who knows? Maybe I'll feel differently about it another day. She's cool. But again, it falls into that category. They aren't scraps. They are new ideas that I'll review later. This was definitely a scrap I was using. I may want to use that today. Same here. So I've just sorted through what the scraps were. I sorted through things that I absolutely know I will not use. They're either too tiny or, again, I'm not finding inspiration from them any longer. So I have my pieces here. And I'm just going to play with them a little bit. I have these faces that don't have their features anymore. Those are always fun to play with. And you can always come up with something different. I'm kind of going in that direction. I really like the way that looks. So I'm going to play some more and you can join me if you'd like. Fun. A lot of cutting going on for these two little guys. I'm not sure if I'm going to use them, but they are ready to go for the next collage. And that's the whole point of dealing with my scraps. I kind of like the way they look with these bowl of cherries from a classical still life. I'm going to put them off to the side. I really love how these cherries work with the composition that I do have going on. And what I am doing here also is I have a pile off camera here, well, not too much off camera, of the probably nuts, but I'm going to keep the ephemera for something else. So probably nuts are collecting over here. Very strong maybes are up here in a pile, and then in the middle here, what I'm working with. So I see a lot of red going on, and I believe we're heading in that direction for a palette. We have some lovely bluish greens that are going to add a lovely contrast, and then bits of a security envelope that I was working with when I was doing the collage. Oh, the name of it is Collage. But I didn't actually use, I don't think I used them. But I have them ready to go. Nice little cuts, clear circular cuts. And then I have this background. So that's where the red theme is coming into play. I also had this fish, and I just did a clean cut of him because, again, I might use him. Then this wonderful eye. I don't know where I got this. It was, it's a Trader Joe's eye. Okay. Trader Joe's, if you're not familiar, that's kind of a quirky little eccentric supermarket here in the United States. We have a bunch on the West Coast. I love going there. I don't go very often, but that's where this came from. Okay. So we have some red going on. I think that's going to be our palette. Do I want to keep those cherries? And then I grabbed this bit of red too in case I need to extend it. That fork too. And I wanted this to kind of counterbalance. It was a bit of a painting, not sure whom, but I think we're going along these lines. Now, what I've shared before, I will share it again. It bears sharing each and every time when you're working with compositions. You don't want too many focal points. So these together will be a focal point. However, these guys coming into the fray. No, they could work because we have something of a, it's bilateral, so it should be okay to use that. And I loved how that eye just fit right there and how these eyes come into play also. That might work. And then this fish. Now, these ladies were part of a collage called, I think it's called, we're going to name it Twins. They're the same model, and I saved the features as I normally do. I saved the features, and I was going just to put them on the opposite ends. I have one nose. I don't know where the other nose went, but I know this nose actually belongs here, but I'm going to put it here just to mess things up. And I'll just use these diamonds for the other nose. I'll probably place it behind, just so. Yeah, like that. I haven't, nothing's being secured yet because I'm still deep in the thinking stages. Yeah, these guys actually look okay here in this fish. It's just completely silly. I had wanted to use this, but now it's getting to be too much. Or is it? Maybe. Just playing here with the scraps, that's all. I don't know yet. I thought about just putting this here because I love how her head was cut out. Kind of came out pretty cool. We have a lot going on now. And I did like these cherries. Had this guy too. I really liked him, but I don't think he's going to make it into this collage. Okay. I'm going to play with it a little bit more, but this is where we're headed. And I think it's in a good direction. All right. It is the next morning. I am feeling refreshed and much better than yesterday. I revisited the collage and kind of took it apart. I had too many things going on. That has been my number one rule. I have shared with everybody that if you have too many focal points, you are going to run into issues. There are a lot of focal points going on here. I came back in to the studio this morning and sorry, it was all done off camera. I ended up making 3 little collages out of the big one that I had set up yesterday. Obviously, these are the pieces that didn't make it, but never fear. They will probably make it into another collage sometime soon. I got to admit that once I am done working with something like I shared yesterday, if I have ephemera that I used previously and recently in another collage, I just don't feel it anymore and I want to move on to something new. So here we have these faces that I used in the twins collage. I'm not, I think it looks awesome. I think they look really cool, but I wasn't feeling them anymore. I think because I had used them recently. Now maybe that doesn't seem really sustainable in terms of material or whatnot, but I guess I just want to move on when I'm done with a piece. It doesn't mean I won't return to these, but now they've been a little messed up with tape and whatnot, and it's not enough for me to even maybe keep them. But I will off to the side whenever. But we had all of those little pieces I was trying to make a collage out of yesterday. And I think that's when the minimals really come into place. So I ended up making 3 minimal collages. Here's the first one. It's actually the least of my favorite of the 3 that I did make. And I wanted to use that bust. I thought that bust was so cool. And I always love working with eyes. And then there was the body cavity from that cool First Aid magazine. I love the landscape. And I ended up doing this. I was kind of concerned about there being nothing in this area, but because it's a photograph, I think it's okay. Like I said, it's not my favorite of the 3 that I made, but I like it. I think it's absurd, it's fun, and I ended up doing something with it, so I'm pleased. It's okay. I'm not ashamed of it by any means. It's like an exercise, really. I think everything that I was doing yesterday was an exercise, and we got to keep the creative muscle going. So I'll give this a name. I was thinking something about the eyes habit or something like that. So, but it also came from that those collages from twinning the eye portions, and then I thought I wanted to use this. Anyway, I like it. It's okay. I'm putting it off to the side. So here's the one. I think this one is like definitely my second runner-up, and it was those little cherubs from that sculptural photograph, that humanities book, and then the Trader Joe's eye. I just removed it. I loved that simple background, the panel, because it gives it a good area of interest, but it's not too much. And then I grabbed that fish from the vintage fishing book and this contemporary painting and put it on back of this red background. And I really like the way that this came out a lot. I'm calling this one Playdate with Pisces. We're in March, so we're in the Pisces era, and then of course the fish. So I just think that this one came out, this one's really strong. I like it. It's fun and absurd, and it's well balanced. So cut out those little boys, and I knew I was going to end up doing something with them, but it was too much with the heads yesterday. And so, yeah, I really, really like how this one came out. And then the last one, and this is the one that got me going this morning, because guess what happened? And I fell on a hand, and I liked the way it looked. It kind of had that mummy quality, and I do this a lot lately with my work. I throw an eye on it, and I'm happy, or maybe a pair of lips. In this case, it was an eye, and there was these cherries. So what I did here was the tucking technique. You cut around the cherry area, and you slip the hand in. That just sounds wrong. This is a rated G channel. Look what I just did. Oh, this isn't adhered. Well, what I do is then I'll do that cut. He's still moving around, so you can see what I did. I can now show you what I'm talking about. You make that cut, and then you tuck it in. And the reason I love this technique so much is, number one, it's very clean. And number two, now it looks like it truly belongs here, like it should be here. And I just borrowed those eyes and got them in, and this is how I adhere it. I'll just grab a piece of packing tape and tape it across. The nice thing about the packing tape too is it's usually easy to lift up later, or you can use an X-Acto knife to lift it up later, so if you want to use this background again, you can. And it looks a little wonky here, but I did want the surrounding area of the bowl to look finished. So I think I can crop this where it'll look nice and straight. That kind of bugs me, but I think when I crop it, it'll probably look something along these lines, and I'll crop it in Photoshop. So I'll just even it up like this on this side, this on this side. I can do it now, but I'm just going to leave it alone because it'll just be a lot easier. So I won't lie to you, yesterday, for whatever reason, I felt like I was burning out a little bit on collage. I never thought I'd say that sentence. I was burning out on collage. I took a break that yesterday evening, and I felt so much better this morning, and I just came into the studio here and I started working, and I came up with these little guys. And this is when I feel like I get back into it. I feel like it's success. Not every collage has to be a success. The collage yesterday was not a success to me, and I had to leave it alone. And I came back in, and this is what came out of that. This is what happens when you work through those blocks. They're inevitable. It's going to happen. I promise you this. But I also promise you that if you keep working at it, maybe take a break, step aside, read a book, watch a movie, do something in your artistic realm that has nothing to do with your main media, return, and you'll be surprised what's waiting for you at the end. So thanks for hanging out with me again. I appreciate your viewership, and I love your feedback. Let me know which one of these is your favorite, and I will see you again next week.